All right, so let's look at the games tonight and take a look at the playoff race as 7 spots have been clinched and the playoff picture still has not crystallized at all with about 7 games to go now, 6 for some teams. All right, so Vegas plays Connecticut. Right now, Connecticut and Minnesota, they're at 2-3, same record. They're fighting for those 2 spots. Two very different first round opponents lie for those two teams. In that 2 spot, you could face Phoenix, who aren't really doing well. They're 4-6 in their last 10. They're looking like a team that could really be headed towards a first round exit. And then if you're in that 3 spot, then you have to go against right now the Indiana Fever. Much different opponent, 8-2 in their last 10, looking like a team that you just don't want to have to face in the first round. Even if you get past them, how much will it take out of you with the pace that they play at? All right, Vegas, they're pretty much locked in to their position there at number 4. I don't see them catching Minnesota. They're 3 games behind Minnesota. I don't see that happening. I mean, it could happen, but I just don't see it happening. And then Seattle Storm, they're 4-6 in their last 10. That's the collapse I didn't see coming. I could see this happening with the Phoenix Mercury months ago. Did not see this happening with Seattle. So I don't see them catching Vegas either. But there is potential for them to drop out of that 5th spot and get caught by the Indiana Fever. And that's something that I did not imagine. I could see the Fever catching the Phoenix Mercury and taking that 6th spot over, but I never imagined that they would potentially be in the 5th. All right, so that's the Vegas and Connecticut game. Minnesota, Indiana. Now, like I mentioned, Minnesota, Connecticut, they're trying to avoid that 6th spot. Or maybe they're not trying to avoid anything. Maybe they're trying to play whoever is in front of them. But you get what I'm saying. This game is just big for Indiana from a mental standpoint, in my opinion. I don't think that Phoenix is going to catch them. I do wonder though, at this point, now that they could catch Seattle, would they rather play against the Aces? Because the Aces are what their record says. We've all waited for them to hit the switch all season long. It's not going to happen. Dallas and Atlanta towards the bottom of the standings, and this would be one of the best games of the night. They both came in from the break, had their 3-game winning streaks snapped by the Fever, but they're playing pretty well. They're healthy. They're both 4-6 in their last 10. They're both in position to take that 8th seed from Chicago, who's on a 7-game losing streak right now. Those 3 teams, along with the Mystics, are all fighting for that last spot. So that game's going to be great. We could see playoff intensity from 2 of the lowest teams in the standings, which is amazing for the league. LA and Chicago. The Sky 2-8 in their last 10. Los Angeles 1-9 in their last 10. The Chicago Sky, they're looking to break a 7-game losing streak and stay in that 8th spot if they even want to get into the playoffs. Right now, honestly, I'd much rather see Atlanta or even Washington take that spot. Chicago just isn't looking like a team that's going to challenge anybody and make it even interesting. All right, as far as picks, and I'll make it quick with this, I'll take Dallas over Atlanta in Atlanta. Las Vegas over Connecticut in Connecticut. As far as Minnesota and Indiana, I already told you guys I'm going with Indiana to avenge that loss in Minnesota. Atlanta Smith, Timmy Fagbenley, both active. So I'm going with the home team on that one. LA, Chicago. I don't think either team really wants to win, to be honest with you. That's how they play. It's hard for me to pick which team's going to win when I don't think either team really wants to, but for the sake of picking, I'll go with Chicago. Kennedy Carter, she's back in the lineup. I'm hoping that Rakia Jackson has a bounce back game. I propped her up so much before that game against Indiana. She came out there and stunk it up. Didn't even play in the 4th quarter, rightfully so. Had just had her signing with the Unrivaled League announced, which I also predicted in that video I did with her signing with Skechers. But yeah, I knew that was coming with her 3-on-3 background. So Rakia, looking for her to have a bounce back game. Maybe they do pull it off, her and De'Erica, but I'm taking Chicago in this game for what it's worth. Those are my picks. Do with them what you will. Yeah, it's kind of fucked up that Vegas and Connecticut game isn't the 8:30 game. That should have been the second game of the doubleheader. Maybe if it was played out in Vegas, it would have been. But either way, I'll be here to talk to you guys about the game after the game, or maybe during. Who knows? In the meantime, and until then, hope you guys have a great day. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one. Peace.